James Dutton for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to join today on Zoom with Chad Sugden. Chad, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, James.
Good stuff. Let's go back and start with the Craig Richards fight. Sort of where it all took off for you, really. Let's go
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
that and reflect on that. How did you see that?
yeah. It was a good fight. I mean, I thought obviously we only took it on a week's notice, and I thought it was a close fight. Thought a draw was a fair result, really. But like to get a draw away as an away boxer on the Matchroom show as well, I think it proves that I did it enough to draw, if not win, and that's on short notice. So, but I enjoyed the fight. It was good to share the ring with Craig Richards, and hopefully one day gets to do it again.
Obviously, this has propelled you into, the British title mix now with Craig and Shakan Pitters. So what has it done for
Yeah.
your career, boxing-wise?
Yeah, it's sort of like leapfrogged me to a bigger stage. I mean, same sort of thing happened last year. I had a fight lined up against a local Nottingham lad, and then he pulled out 3 or 4 weeks out, and Luke Blackledge stepped in, and he was number 10 at the time in Britain. Um, and then I won that fight. That was my first step up fight, really. And then after that, obviously the Craig Richards fight came in December last year, and I was just glad I was in close to the weight and in good shape, ready for it. Do you know what I mean? And I always like to keep myself in shape, especially at the level I was at. It's important to keep yourself in shape because you never know when that opportunity is going to come, and you don't really get for your first one. I don't think you do get good notice because no one really wants you to win or cause an upset. Do you know what I mean? So, but it was yeah, it's good to be in the mix, and I'm hoping I can now go up even further and win the British title.
What's it like? You mentioned they stayed ready. It's important to do so. What's it like getting that phone call a week beforehand? And obviously, it's a big stage, Sky Sports show down at York Hall, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom. What's that like?
It was amazing. I mean, I had a 6 rounder lined up for the weekend after, or that weekend because the fight was on a Thursday. Um, I literally was just going in to train, finish doing my last little week training, and my dad says, "Oh, I just had a message off Matchroom. They want you to fight Richards for the WBA Intercontinental title," and I was like, "Yeah, why not? When is it?" And they said, "Oh, next Thursday." I was like, "Andy, like, so obviously." As a boxer, you want them opportunities, but when you're in shape as well and sort of ready to go, makes it even easier to say yes, if you know what I mean. And I was just up for the fight, and I was buzzing to be able to fight at York Hall as well. It's the sort of the mecca of British boxing. Like that's where the big nights are held, and it was a great atmosphere. And took well, even on a week's notice, I think we took about 50, 60 people there that come down on a Thursday night to watch, and it was good. It was a good atmosphere.
Certainly was. I was there myself ringside. It was a good night. Away from boxing side of things, obviously it's helped you. You're in the British title mix. It's helped your rankings within Britain. But have you seen a difference in outside the ring? So your profile, any sort of new sponsors, anything like that at all?
Um, I've always been lucky. I've got some good sponsors because obviously from my kickboxing, I was quite high up, and I was fighting on televised events in America and stuff like that. So I've got a few key sponsors that have stuck with me through the change. And obviously, it's been a while fighting at a smaller hall level, and then getting this opportunity now. It's now time for me to sort of pay them back. But I have had a lot more interest on social media, like the followers, and yeah, and just people are starting to recognise the name of it. And I'm hoping after this next fight, people don't just look at me as a good contender; they see me as a champion and someone that can like sort of guide the way in the light heavyweight UK scene.
Absolutely. And before we do mention about your kickboxing history, I want to talk about Shakan Pitters. Obviously, you was due to
Yeah.
fight him. The pandemic's put a stop to that. Is that still your next fight? Do you know?
Yes, it's definitely the next fight. It's just a matter of when. I think we'll get a better idea once. I mean, I'm training full camp now anyway because they did say to us, look, we'll try to be ready for if we can go ahead behind closed doors, and obviously the answer to that is yes. I can't wait to get in there and do the fight. So I'm just we're just waiting for the all clear and for a date. And once that date's in, I'll be ready for that. And I'm just excited to get in there with someone else who's sort of come up similar sort of time frame to me. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I think I've been in boxing a lot longer than him, but he's in the pro game, probably similar sort of time frame.
What are your thoughts on Shakan as a fighter? What are his pros and cons?
He's well, obviously, one of his pros is how tall he is for the weight and his length and that. Um, I think he picks his shots reasonably well, and he uses his brain. Do you know what I mean when he's in there because he don't really get caught into a fight too much. So he is good at that, but also I think what he gains in size he might lack elsewhere. And I've seen him get hit a few times by people that aren't quite as quick or as technically gifted as me. But he does take a shot reasonably well. But I believe I'll be hitting him early on, and I'll be able to get to him earlier. And it'll be interesting to see how he holds up over the 12 rounds when he's getting someone that moves as well. Because I don't think he's fought anyone that has made him miss, and I believe I can make him miss and then damage him for that as well. So it's going to be a good, interesting clash of stars. I think a lot of people are more excited about that fight than there was the Richards Pitters fight because them two are very similar. In Rich is a bit shorter, but it would have been a good fight to see who took the back foot and who took the front foot. But at the same time, I think everyone knows that for me to win, I'm going to have to go in there and fight and get close and up personal. And for Shakan to win, he's going to have to try and keep me off. So it's going to be a battle from start to finish because we both want to go in there and win. And I think that's what makes it so exciting.
You mentioned you feel like nobody's made Shakan miss. What does that do in a fight when a fighter is missing? Is it purely just frustration? Does it open gaps for you to counter attack?
Yeah, I think then they start having to throw more combos to land, sort of thing. So then it does give you an opening to then counter. And when someone's punching, that's when they're most vulnerable at the same time. So with it, with how long he is, it's going to take him longer to bring his arms back to the defensive position than it would say me, who's a bit short for the division. So that is where I'm going to take advantage of, and I just think it's going to work in my favour as well as him being tall is going to work in his favour. So I think it's all who plays the cards right on the night. We're ready to go. We've got the game plan. So we've had it since February. Do you know what I mean? We're supposed to fight in March, so I'm looking forward to getting in there and doing what I've been working on the last however many months now since we've been in lockdown.
Have you found this period frustrating? Obviously, like you say, you've been ready. You've known what you want to do since February. You meant to fight in March. We're now months down the line. Has it been frustrating for yourself?
Oh yeah, of course it has. I mean, it's I'm just treating it as time to like just take a bit of chill time, but also tick over training and work on my technical side of things. Because I believe you don't stop learning, and I've just been watching boxers and using it to study the game as well as like because when you're in full camp all the time and you're fighting all the time, it's mainly getting you ready for that specific fight. You're not really slowing stuff down and working on the basics as much. You're just doing everything sort of 100 mile an hour because that's what it's going to be like on fight night, and you're getting the most out of your body. But when you don't have a fight lined up and you've got a bit more time, you can really slow stuff down and work on some of the stuff that maybe you need to work on. Because I'm all about being a complete fighter, and I believe you can never stop learning, and that's what I've tried to do over this period.
Definitely. Let's talk about your transition, kickboxing to boxing. First of all, what is the transition like?
Yeah, it was interesting. at first, obviously, it's exciting and stuff like that, but then to realise when I even though I've amateur boxed before, when I went to get my pro license, they made me do like a trial. I want a trial bout. You did some body sparring and had to do a fitness test and stuff like that. And like, I've just thought I was like at that time, I was ranked number 2 in the world in glory at kickboxing. I was like, well, I've got to do a trial bout. Like, it's like a bit like it just brings you back down to earth a bit. Do you know what I mean? It's quite humbling, but at the same time, like that's when it clicks. Like, right, this is what I've done it for. But now I've got to go and fight, sell the tickets, fight in the small hall shows and stuff like that. And I think it was nice as well because a lot of my fights in the kickboxing was abroad and away, so not a lot of people could make them. So when I did turn pro boxing, it gave people the chance to come and see me, who wouldn't ordinarily be able to come because I was fighting in Vegas or Dubai or wonderful places. But you go there on your own with your coaching team and that, and some close people might take the trip, a few lads, do you know what I mean, and make a weekend out of it. But yeah, it was nice at first, but then as you start going up the rankings, it does take a long time to get yourself noticed. And there's been a few fights which I haven't been able to take because of injuries or whatever, or they haven't come at the right time, and that's what really made me make sure I stayed fit the whole time. Because even though you can't do anything about injuries, I'd then gone and found out a good sports massage. Made sure I went to the physio every week just to keep on top of stuff. Because then, if you do get that call, right, can you be ready in 2 weeks? And you know your body's in the right place, and that just helps your mind then to say, I'm ready to go. Because that's what you need to do, I think, as a young upcoming boxer. Unless you're an Olympian and you get signed by, say, a Matchroom, Frank Warren or Hennessy Sports, straight away you've got to take them opportunities.
You mentioned the process of getting your license was brought you back down to earth a little bit. You said that you're second ranked in the world for kickboxing. What's it like to build yourself up to that level and then have to start again in a new sport?
Well, one of the reasons of doing it personally, I was 21 at the time, and I sort of achieved more than well. I think I'm still the highest ranked UK fighter ever in glory. So it's like, and that was at 21. I did that from 17 to 21. I fought all the fights kickboxing, and the only other thing to do really was win the title. But they didn't really want me to win the title because of my profile wasn't quite as big as the champion or the people that he was fighting. So they was in Holland, it's massive. Like their guys have got like 200 to 400,000 followers. I had 2,000. Do you know what I mean? So like for me to win the title, it could have looked bad on their promotion, if you know what I mean. Who's this English kid that's just come in and won the title? So they kept putting a lot of obstacles in the way. And at the time, I had a little problem, like injury with my back, and the kicking wasn't helping that. Boxing was fine, I could do that easy, but like it just all come at the perfect time. I fought Grow Night in Vegas. It was already decided before that fight that I was going to switch over, but when I got offered that fight, it was like 4 weeks before. I was like, it's a no-brainer. I get to fight the number 1 in the world, and and it's in Las Vegas. So, what kickboxer didn't want to do that? Do you know what I mean? So we did that, and then that was when we started to make the transition.
Because you've boxed in Vegas, you mentioned Dubai, you've boxed on these big stages in kickboxing. Does that take away any pressure on boxing on the big stage in boxing?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, everywhere's slightly different. Every promotion does stuff a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, I've been in them situations before where I felt the nerves and I felt the pressure. And I think I don't think the pressure ever goes, but the only pressure you get is what you put on yourself, and you get to deal with the situation a little bit better. That's all. And people that think like, oh, how come they don't get nervous on the telly? I think everyone gets it. Everyone gets a little bit nervous, and if you didn't, I don't think you'd be as sharp. But it's all about how you deal with it, and just getting rid of the nerves that you don't need, um, which like detriment your performance. But for me personally, in the fight week, I'm pretty chill until it's go time, and I think that's the best way to be. It has been for me in the past, and otherwise you won't sleep at night. Do you know what I mean? But it's yeah, the pressure thing, I enjoy it. That feeling of walking out to the ring, it's can't get it any other way.
No, definitely. Talk to me a bit about, you met a couple of guys out in Vegas. First of all, let's talk about, you met Mike Tyson over there. I was
Yeah,
speaking to your dad the other night, and he was telling me about the stories. Tell us about meeting
yeah,
Mike Tyson. What was that like?
incredible, mate. Well, we were just walking past, and there was a big queue to see him, and Dad went and spoke up to one of the guys organising this book signing thing, and they said, "Oh, if you'd buy a pair of his signed shorts, which was $100, but he signs them right in front of you, and like his new fight shorts, and then you can just jump the queue." And because obviously Dad explained that I was fighting, I fought the night previously, and just went in, and Dad was there, my mum and my cousin, and yeah, it was unreal. Really, Dad's always wanted to meet him, and I've never seen my dad starstruck before, um, and it was incredible. But we had a photo, and he talked to us for a little bit. Actually, is a most down to earth guy you could meet. I think, yeah, I'd love to meet him again. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully someday.
What do you make of his rumoured comeback in exhibition fights?
It's just an exhibition fight with someone like Holyfield or something like that. I think it could be good fun. But at the same time, like boxing's not really a sport where you can play at. Like, do you know you get these football with the all stars and stuff like that, and it's all right. Like, no one's going to get hurt. But Mike Tyson had a great career, um, but towards the end, he was struggling, and I don't want to see Mike Tyson, a bad Mike Tyson, come back. Do you know what I mean? I like listening to him speak and everything like that. And I love like he looks great on the pads and stuff. But every boxer knows it's different when you get in there. And no matter how good you can get looking on the pads, it was like when Nigel Benn was going to come back. You do lose that punch resistance over time, and you don't. I don't want to see anyone, even Holyfield or any of the one of the legends, ever getting hurt because they had one too many. And Mike Tyson, you could have said he had a few too many in his original career. So I don't know how he's going to come back and change that. Do you know what I mean? So I just hope if he does, it's a free round and they wear big gloves and it's against someone like Holyfield and they just have a move around and that. Do you know what I mean? But I don't want to see a fully competitive fight when Mike Tyson's involved. To be honest.
No, absolutely. Another guy you met out in Vegas, Floyd Mayweather. Tell us a story
Yeah,
about meeting him.
yeah. That was actually the night of the fight. So we went. I knew I've always been a big fan of Floyd and followed him very closely, and I knew he went to a place called Fat Burger with his family. I mean, I can't imagine he eats them all the time, but that's where he sort of like rents out a bit outside and chills. And I seen him about a week before I was out there. He had a famous like little scuffle with Ti, the rapper and movie star. They had like throwing chairs and stuff like that. And then when I went there after the fight, I said, "Oh, I want to go to Fat Burger after the fight, have a burger and a milkshake, and like every fighter likes to eat what they want after the fight." Do you know what I mean? Have a crack, and went in there. And as I was leaving, we actually had a guy with us from Vegas who was sponsored by the same people. Um, like he was texting us around, showing us around some of the area because we'd never been before, and these stones like moved, and these cars started pulling like G wagons stuff like that, and big, massive cars like what else was there? Like Range Rovers, just loads of them, blacked out windows and that, and had money team on the side. And he says, "Oh, I think Floyd's here," and we thought, well, we'll just wait because I've got him on my arm for one, and thought I've always wanted to meet him, and not me. To be fair, although Mike Tyson's a bigger name than like more of a legend than probably Floyd Mayweather is now, but Floyd Mayweather will get recognised more as the time goes on. Even though what he's done is impeccable, like no one can argue with his achievements. No one's really met Floyd Mayweather, so I thought this could be cool. Like, I don't know anyone else that's ever met him, so it'd be nice to meet him. And he, then a load of flashlights come out, security and all that. Couldn't see anything, and he went and got into the bar, and he was sat with his kids and that. It's like 4 in the morning, just having a meal, just him and his kids and a woman, and then all his bouncers were in a ring, shoulder to shoulder, around the outside of the table. So it's like there was no way of getting in. Do you know what I mean? Or even seeing clearly. And we tapped one of the bouncers. Oh, is that Floyd? Wouldn't mind like having a picture with him. We just had a fight on Glory at the Hard Rock Hotel, and they went, "Oh, you're having a laugh, mate." Like everyone tries to pull a quickie like that, and I had like stitches in, and but they still weren't having it. I said, "Oh, what about this though? I've got a tattoo of him on my arm," and he was like, "Yeah, but it don't matter." And then the guy next to him went, "Hey, up me, Floyd, I want to see this." Tapped Floyd on the shoulder, whispered in his ear, and he just came straight over. Um, they let us in, like, and he was just chatting to me, and like I was a bit. That's probably the first time I've ever been proper starstruck. Do you know what I mean? I was like, this is a bit surreal because he just looks and sounds like he's on telly, and it's like strange. And then I was surprised how small he was in person. But then I think the TV always does make you look bigger. And then just had a photo, and like he was saying, "Oh, to be fair, he said he wanted to get me out to his last fight against Andre Berto, but obviously I don't know if he was just saying that, and then it like sort of went. Do you know what I mean? That was wishful thinking. He said he's going to fly me out and that, but maybe next time if he does fight again. But he's no, it was amazing, and it was sort of like worth the wait. We was waiting there for about an hour until they said we could go and have a look. Like, so, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Absolutely. And very finally, Chad, obviously with Mayweather, it looks like he's been in the gym. He's taken a few guys on the pads, Devin Haney being one of them. Do you think Mayweather's got what it takes to make a good trainer?
Um, I believe he does, yeah. But I always find, me personally, myself, when I've trained other people, as long as he's got the right students and the people that want to listen, I think it would be hard not to listen to Floyd Mayweather if he was telling you what to do because of what he's done in the sport and achieved. But I think the hardest thing about being a coach is the patience. Not everyone picks up everything as quick as you, and some people are better at other stuff than others. And as long as he can get that, and do you know what I mean? He doesn't expect everyone to be just like him because he's one in a million. Do you know what I mean? So, but I believe he could be a good coach. Yeah, if you look at anyone when they're in the ring, as long as he can bring his boxing knowledge, what he can do in the ring, which I think a lot's just muscle memory and reactions. But if he can bring that across and coach someone else, then that'd be amazing. And Devin Haney is a guy that is already quite well established. If you can make him anywhere near Floyd's sort of defensive level and offensive, then Devin Haney could be laughing. He could be the next big thing.
Absolutely. Chad, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate you joining us today on Pro Boxing Fans.
No, thank you very much, James. It's been nice to see you.